Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of ES Repair. This lawnmower here, which we'll be working on today, I got from a friend that I work with. He said it's real hard to start. About 100 pulls and you can get it started. First I figured that the primer wasn't working. And he said something about the blade on it being messed up. Well, I got it from him, brought it home. Had it sitting out in the rain, which is something you don't want to do. It's not good on them. Now I'm going to show you today, and we've got our bug still, what happens when you hit something with your motor running full throttle and you run over something like a rock or stuff and it brings your lawnmower to a halt like that. Because after further examination I found out the carburetor was priming, so I dug deeper into it. Well, we'll work on the top part first. Fix that. In order to do that, you take screws off. It's a Yardman 21-inch cut, self-propelled, 6.5 horsepower, horizontal engine. I mean, the crank goes up and down like that.
That's vertical.
Vertical. Okay, it's vertical. You can edit that out. It's a vertical engine. Start by taking these two screws off. You'll need a Phillips screwdriver to do it. Just run that back here out of your way. Okay. Lay screws where you can't lose them. Then you gotta have a flat screwdriver. Wherever it went to. You go down here to take these off. As I said before, always watch where your screws come out, where they go. What goes where, them two go there. The other two go on that top piece, I'll put them together. Okay? Here's the air filter. Now, as you can tell by looking at it, where it's out in the rain and everything, it was wet when I brought it in the other day. It's real nasty and black looking. So I got him a new one. Toss that one. They don't have a pre-filter on it either. Okay. Now you got 3 more bolts. 1, 2, 3. They're 5/16 here on the top. You gotta take them out. When you run over something, you can strip your flywheel key out, which makes it harder to start, and you can also make it pop and spit carry on to the carburetor because it gets the timing off for the spark plug coil, causes it to misfire. Okay, lay your bolts over here.
Hang on a minute.
What?
I just lost focus. There we go. Okay.
Okay. Next, you take a 3/8 socket. Got 2 bolts here, which you probably can't see because of Mr. Fix-It, my cameraman. Which is true, he is sleeping at the job. Anyway, they're here, 2 in the front here.
Alright.
One there, and one right over here. And you've also got 2 more bolts right here and here. These have to come out. And you got oil dipstick comes out too with it. So watch that you don't get drop that down there, dirt or something, or a screw. Dirt would be better as long as it don't stop nothing up. Then you take these two here out. I already had this thing apart to find out what's wrong with it, so I didn't bother to tighten everything down like it's supposed to be. Just take them right back out. And if you notice here on this fuel line, it's dry and cracked, so I'll be replacing that too. And put them two over there. So, gotta be careful there. If this comes up, you lay it to the side. Now, you gotta have our impact wrench. Make sure it's in the reverse position to take this off. And it takes a 15/16 socket. See? It's right off. And as I was talking about the flywheel key, you will notice here now, you can get a close-up of this. Here's the key, and right there, the channel slide on the crankshaft where it's supposed to be, so it's out a quarter of a turn. It's over here, and it's supposed to be here. So it's out about a quarter of a turn. They're made out of aluminum, which they can shear real good, which makes it possible for them to shear without damaging the crankshaft or your flywheel if you hit something. Okay. Now, take a punch. There's various ways of getting that off. There are various ways you can get this off. Some people stick pry bars under there and pop it off. Some people can put pullers on it, them holes there, but they ain't thready. And some people hit on that. But when you go to hit it, you want to make sure you got a nut or something on there so it don't damage your thread or flare the head out where you can't get a bolt on it. I'm going to try to take a punch, and it might work if I did both of them to remove it. If it says to remove, use the things there, but I ain't going to do that. So I'm going to take this hammer, and before I do it, if you notice, the coil here is right up against the flywheel. That ain't too good. I'm going to readjust that. Anyway, take it here, the decent size hammer, punch there. He's budging it in. While we didn't show it on camera because I had to borrow my cameraman's help, I had him to slide this up under here on the flywheel. Be careful not to damage anything under the flywheel. There's no charging system under the flywheel like on the big riding motors under the flywheel, charge your battery. But some push motors do have an electric start, which means they gotta have something to charge the battery. In them cases, there is something under the flywheel to charge. But there's no charger on this one because there's no kind of electric starter. Anyway, he held up on it with these two things, pulled up on it, while I tapped it real hard with a hammer and punch like we did earlier. Anyway, you gotta be careful not to hurt your coil, leakages, or break anything while you're doing it. And as I was telling you, if he can get a close-up of it, right there is what's left of your flywheel key. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
Zoom in on it.
Move your hand.
Right there is all that's left of it. See, this is what I told you about. You gotta watch out not bend. You'll kill wires. Governor rod.
Ooh, that is broke.
And make sure your flywheel's alright, which it seemed to be. Okay. Now you gotta get the old key out of there. We would do that by taking a flat screwdriver, kind of working down on it. See, it comes right out. And there's what a sheared key looks like. That can throw your timing off, because when you put the flywheel on, the slot in your flywheel is supposed to line up, slot there, and it locks it. Like so. And that is what times your magnets to your ignition coil there. Anyway, take it off. What you can do now, just set all that off. Make sure you don't lose any of your bolts and everything. And when blowing anything like this, because of dirt flying, always put something over your eyes. Then okay. Now, what I'll redo, I got it apart. What the carburetor cleaner I got, kind of clean the linkages up, everything. And on your carburetor linkages, let that dry, then lube it up with some WD-40 or something. Okay. It would also be a good idea to take your time while you got to it and clean your ignition coil in. Get them nice and shiny. Can you zoom in on that from back here? See how one's shinier than the other one? That's one I just cleaned. Now I'll clean this one. Okay. Real good, quite shiny. That can mess your spark up. And your flywheel keys, you can get the name brands like this, which are a little more expensive, or you can get the cheaper versions. Just make sure they're the same kind and they're made out of aluminum, so that they will shear. So you need this. Okay, well you got that handy. Take a moment, clean up the flywheel. You can see where the coil's been rubbing a little. Get it nice and shiny. You ain't got to go all around the coil if you just want to, but you mostly got to do with a magnet strap. But they have good contact with the coil there. Okay. Okay, now what we'll do is put the flywheel back there. I'll put a little WhizKid on it so it'll slide down better. You take it, you line the flywheel slide up with that slot. Like so. Pull back on the cable there because that brake's got it there. Okay, good. Okay, now let go of it. Okay. Now what you'll do is take your little aluminum key and insert it down in there. Sometimes they go in good, sometimes they don't. You also got to inspect your flywheel for damage, the hole, as well as your slot there. Pull the cable back. Okay. Now going around. Line your screws up good. I didn't know no better. I think Dale gave me the wrong ones there. I forgot to tap it in. Like so. Tap it in. And get it flush there. See, that puts it back in time on top. Okay. Next, we'll take our cup, which is what your little dogs catch on when you start it. The nut. Impact wrench and put it back on. You'll probably have to hold your thing a little. Tighten it down real good. Okay. Next, what I'll do is set the coil. Okay. I tightened the bolt up here with the impact wrench and held the flywheel while I was doing it. You want to get it really tight, so you want to hammer on it a few seconds, but don't overdo it because you reason you want it tighter, so because it's got any play in it, it can wobble loose and wear the hole out, and it can come off, and it can cause it to shear the flywheel key again or damage the crank. But if you over tighten it and make it rough on the end, bushings, bearings, and everything, you can strip something out, break it. Now I'm going to show you, like I said, how to do the spark plug magnetron. Take a 1/4 inch socket.
Magnetron.
Magneto, I meant. Sorry.
No, what's it called again?
You kind of want to knock you fistless.
Well, just want to make sure you still have the confusion between a magneto and a magnetron.
Right. Take you just your average everyday business card. Stick it down in there. Find out where your magnets are at, which they're around here. Hold the card. Rotate it around. And let the magnet pull it on up. Like so. With the card in there. Then tighten it down. Really good. Okay, that got that. Now you turn it where you can get the card out. You'll see it when it comes around. Yeah, it still looks about the same, but it's a little bit better. Make sure it ain't rubbing. Okay, now the top is done. Now I like replacing this fuel line. I hope I can get to it without taking the carburetor off. Maybe. It's already coming off. See how dry and crackered it is? I've seen, like on ones with pumps, I've seen them squirt them out, gas out. At the same time, it can also create an air leak where it won't suck the gas out of the tank in some cases. But like I said, see all the potential vacuum leaks where the cracks are. Okay, I've got me a new piece of hose here and cut it to the, measured by the old hose and cut it to the length that I needed. And these are the clamps I was talking about in the earlier video. You may have to have a pair of pliers to put them on. Oh. Ouch. Turn it where you can get to the connectors. Pair needle nose or something. So you turn it upright where you can get to the, and then it's going to be tricky. Squeeze it together. Even a funner. Where'd the flashlight go? There it is. It's on there good and the clamp's on good. And there's the other piece of the flywheel key that come off of the flywheel when I pulled it off. Let's burn that one. We'll show them here in a minute. Right there next to the red towel. Okay, Nick.
Just checking it out.
Okay. Now what you do is you take the hose, put it back on the tank, use the wire pliers this time, clamp it down. Okay, now we start reassembly. Take the top back. When you got the top off, make sure you don't rear it up, lean over on its side, or turn the motor over too much, because it'll push oil out. Now, you just take it, line everything up right, reassemble it, like so. Now you take all the bolts, start them, but don't tighten them down. Start them pretty good. They don't fall out a couple of rounds. Make sure your oil dip stick is in. And I forgot to lubricate the linkages, but just spray them here real good in the carburetor. That's basically it. And your cable ends here. Okay. Oh, my knees. Oh, my knees. Use your 3/8 ratchet and socket and extension to tighten it down. Tighten all 4 bolts. Okay, now we got all the bolts tightened down to 3/8. We'll put this part back on. And it uses these little short bolts here, which are 5/16. You got 3 of them, you just start them in. Be careful not to drop them or nothing. Okay, now I've tightened all them bolts down with a 1/4 inch 5/16 socket. Next, what I'll do is put this top back on. It goes on like that right there. And it uses these 2 little Phillips screws here. Okay. Next what we'll do is we'll put the new breather in. The new breather is just like the old one, except it's got the pre-filter on it, but see how much cleaner it is? And it's got the pre-filter on it. I need to do the same thing with it, spray it with lubricant. Really good. And squeeze the excess out. Okay. And put it back on. Okay. It's gonna get a little dirty from your hand. Put it back on there. Okay, take it. Top with your 2 flat screws. it back together with the 2 screws. You want to check to see if it's priming. You can press the bubble while you got the breather in the top off here and see if you can see some gas squirting into the carburetor or building up down there and pulling up. Which I had done that earlier, and it was priming. Look down in the hole that the breather covers. Okay, now the top is done. It's on the top also is leave your cable here up. Because you want to keep water out of that. Water gets down there and it'll rust your cable up, then you'll have to buy a new cable. And them things can be up to $15 to $20 depending on where you get it. Also, kind of pull on your rope a little. If lubricate the dogs under there, which I didn't do. I can take it off later and redo that. Okay. Now, I'll take the spark plug out and clean it up a little. I can't start it because of what's underneath, which will show you in a second. Okay. Now I'm going to take the spark plug out and clean it. I use a 13/16 socket. Take it loose. Screw it out. Ew. Okay. Now I'll spray a little carburetor cleaner. If I can find it. Kind of clean it off a little. Now I'll clean it up on the wire brush. There's various ways you do it. Now all you do is screw the spark plug back in. And tighten. And take your socket wrench, put on it. And tighten it the rest of the way. But don't get carried away with it. You can strip your hole out in there. That's just aluminum. Makes your threads up. Put the wire back on and you're done. Okay. Now that we fixed all the problems with the top, I am now going to show you how to check the blade adapter and change it, since it was probably damaged when whoever hit the rock or where it was. You can get a pretty good idea that it was damaged just by looking at the other damage that was done to the flywheel key. Okay, now here we are underneath the lawnmower, and you can see the blade has been replaced. It's not the new blade that was on it when it was damaged, or it'd be bent. But you see that blade is pretty straight. To take the blade off, adjust the blade, you take that bolt out. Well, that bolt is not the right bolt for that. There's supposed to be another bolt right there in that slot, which there isn't because we had to cut it out. And you also got to take the main bolt out here. Okay. After you take this main bolt out and these 2 other bolts, the blade will come off. And when you take, or you can take the main bolt here loose. And the whole thing, the drive, pulley, the blade, and the blade adapter will fall off. So all you gotta do is take it off. This was only finger tight, but to normally take it off you need an impact wrench about a 3/8 inch. Pull down on it while working your belt off there by slowly turning. Like that. Get it to come off. See, the whole thing comes off. have to work with it a little bit if it's damaged. And see, here in the motor, you got that keyway there. And I'm having to do this by myself without my cameraman, because he's not here tonight. So, and right there is where you put a 3/8 socket extension in, draining the oil out. If it don't want to come out, don't force it. That little plug right there is where you drain the oil at. It takes a 3/8 socket extension without the socket, turn it normal, and pull it out and drain your oil. If it don't want to come out, don't force it. It could break the oil pan. Okay, now I have the blade off, and this here is the blade, or rather it is the drive pulley adapter. See there, the belt goes because it's self-propelled. That's why it's got that. And here is the blade adapter where the two bolts go in the main bolt, and you can see how it's busted there. You do not want to put this back on there ever. It could disintegrate and cause the blade to come off. And as you see, it's been messed up, and the blade key is gone, or the keyway that holds onto the crankshaft. That slides up inside there like that when you put it together. Here's the new one. It's all made in one. So you got your adapter, your pulley, it's all in one. And this one doesn't utilize or use the bolts. It just has a piece of metal. It's got these nubs on it like that and like that. They go together and the main bolt goes down through them. That's it. Anyway, we'll put it together now. And as you can also see, this one has the blade adapter down inside it, or rather the keyway down inside it. You can see it down in there. Well, the other one is stripped out, as you can tell here on that one, and it's also busted there. And now to put this back on, you have to line your keyway up down in here with the keyway on the crank. You do that by kind of just eyeballing the line of it, and it'll go up on there like it just did. It only go one way, and try to turn it, it was locked. Okay, the way you got it up to help hold it, work your belt on, which I just did. Okay, then you put your blade up there. Get lined up on the pulley eye there, the adapter thing. Make sure they line up in the blade good. Then you make sure your blade curves up. Make sure the end of your blade curve up. Then you put the main bolt in, and you got to have an impact socket, the impact wrench, or a really good socket wrench or pipe wrench to put it in, because you want to make sure it's torqued down good so it don't come out. The belt is back on, the blade is on, and the end pieces are curved up like I was talking about it towards the mower, not down. They're curved down, the blade's on wrong. And this is what I'm talking about. You line the blade center up the little star adapter for whatever on your mower. And like I said, this new one doesn't have the bolt holes. Then it has the little nubs on both things. You center them in the slots on both of them, and then center these in the slots, and then put the main bolt up through it and tighten it down with the impact wrench. And now I'm going to change the oil by changing that out. Okay. And anytime you're working under here, you always want to make sure your spark plug wire is disconnected, or your gas is turned off, preferably both. Definitely disconnect the spark plug wire. That prevents it starting on what little gas is in it. Well, I got the blade on and the blade adapter and the drive assembly. I changed the oil and screwed the plug back in. It screws in opposite of the way you take it out. Don't screw it in too far or over tighten it, because you may strip something out or break something, and it'll make it harder to get out next time. But at the same time, you don't want to leave it so loose that it vibrates back out, because that could burn your motor up with no oil, And plus it could spray all over the hole underneath as well on your grass or anything around you. And it could also cause the operator to fall if they slip in it. And on this model, I filled it back up here where the oil goes in. Gas is over here. Put the spark plug wire on, so you can see down there. And I cleaned everything up and lubed everything up on it. It starts up a lot easier now. Also, when you have a lawnmower with that kind of damage where it strips the flywheel key and breaks the blade adapter, you always want to check, make sure the crankshaft out isn't bent. You can check to see if the crank is bent by turning the blade, but make sure the spark plug is unplugged so that it can't start. You can turn the gas off if it's got gas, turn off, but always make sure the spark plug is off so that it can't start with what little gas is still in the carburetor. And if your lawnmower's got one of them hand clutches right here, like that one, where you have to pull it down, make sure that's down so it'll unlock the brake locker and free the flywheel. Then you get under it while you're holding it up with something, or somebody's holding it, make sure the flywheel or the crankshaft both hold the blade on, it's turning in a true circle like that. It's not moving it around like that or anything like that. The more it moves around, the worse the crankshaft is bent. It should just stay there and turn in a circle like that, whichever way you're turning it. It shouldn't wobble around or anything. It stay in a true circle. Thank you for watching. This has been an episode of ES Repair. Thank you.